Okay, this is a different kind of list because we're not just focusing on one Green Lantern, but multiple. After Johns came in on Rebirth of the Green Lanterns, a lot of series of Green Lanterns just started popping up everywhere instead of just one main one. So this list was a bit tricky for me in the sense I wanted to cover as many Green Lanterns as possible, as I have loved a lot of different ones for different reasons. So this time, I'm really going to focus on runs, even though there's a couple of standalones I want to talk about as well. However, when I'm talking about these runs, I will point out where to start them since they are so big. So for the first run, let's talk about Green Lantern by Geoff Johns. At first glance, Johns' Green Lantern run looks extremely daunting, to say the least. It spanned years and years with big events within the universe and a lot of mythos behind it. However, since it was so popular, it's easy to collect. My biggest recommendation is to simply start with Green Lantern Rebirth or Green Lantern Geoff Johns Complete Collection Volume 1, and not to get confused with the Rebirth line from 2016. I know, the names are confusing, but the actual title is just called Green Lantern Rebirth when it came out. This is Johns firing on all cylinders as he reinvents what the Lanterns are about, and while also giving us some great Hal character development. It doesn't hurt that it has some amazing events like the Sinestro War and the Black Knight to make it even better. Oh, Blackest Night, sorry. And most would say that this is a definitive run on Green Lantern, and I'm not really going to argue with that because it really is that great. There's just others I enjoyed a lot too. Green Lanterns by Sam Humphries is my next suggestion. This is actually the first Green Lantern I read ever in 2016, and then I went back and began to read all the older ones. This is the story of Jessica and Simon as they are the newly appointed Green Lanterns of Earth. These are fun tales that go from simple character moments, just chilling in a kitchen cooking, to facing off big-ass enemies like the Red Lanterns and bigger ones with new power rings and everything. This is actually a really fun and great read with good art too, so I definitely say check it out. It's easy to collect because it's still new, and you can buy all 5 volumes. I believe that covers this whole run. My next pick is Green Lantern by Judd Winick. While this run is older, it focuses on Kyle Rayner, who is my favorite Green Lantern. You can still grab the first book, which is titled Green Lantern, New Journey, Old Path. That's pretty easy to find, but all his ones past that can vary in price and get pretty expensive. I do recommend DC Universe as a great alternative. They have the whole series that you can read right on there. And with this adventure is basically focusing on the daily life with Kyle, but also giving us like this one-man army of Green Lantern, because back then he was pretty much like the one and only last Green Lantern, and after the events of Emerald Twilight, and while you might want to grab that first, I'll get to that later, or even Ron Marr's Kyle Rayner's run, which is also good, I just think that Judd gave a unique voice to Kyle. It's fun, it's exciting, and the best word to describe this one, it's just laid back and a little bit of social commentary in there. I personally really enjoyed this run a lot. And my very last pick is Green Lantern Corps by Peter Tomasi. I think I finally got his name right after all these videos. This one is actually a bit harder since the name Green Lantern Corps is exactly the same for both New 52 run and New 52 run. The good thing though is both are great and you can really jump on either one. You don't really have to read the other before, but I would recommend, if possible, if you can find it, go back and read Green Lantern Corps Ring Quest, or if you can't find it, just read it on DC Universe, as I said before. Dave Gibson before Tomasi does a pretty good job of introducing you to the Corp, but it's also better, in my honest opinion, when Peter takes over the series. It just brings it to another level. It's great stories filled with basically police cop stories and broing out moments with multiple characters. I really loved all that. It's an extremely interesting ride and adds more to the overall feel of the entire Green Lantern Corps, which is really nice and just focusing on one character. Okay, and we're going to talk about the first standalone, Emerald Twilight. As I mentioned before, if you're still with me after all those runs I just gave you, thank you. But Green Lantern is big, and we're going to talk about the biggest, probably changing point of the entire 70-year run or however long Green Lantern's been going on. Emerald Twilight is when Hal Jordan goes completely fucking nuts and takes on, well, just about everyone in the universe and kills a lot of good people. It's dark, it's twisted, and somehow it kind of pretty much works. It's actually a really cool thing to see one of the oldest characters, one of the heroes, go insane, and for good reason. And then it continues after this, but this story, Emerald Twilight, pretty much is the complete transformation of the character. It also introduces you to Kyle in the end. So it's a pretty good book to read, and I enjoyed it just reading it by itself. So check it out. Emerald Twilight is definitely worth reading for a standalone. My last standalone pick is Omega Man, and while not exclusively a Green Lantern story, it does star Kyle Rayner, which, if you haven't noticed, is my favorite character, and it is a dark and fucked up look at war in space. I personally love this one. I think it did wonders for Kyle's character, and it also made me want to read up on Omega Man, who I didn't really read before this. This is an easy standalone, and even if you're not interested in any Green Lantern stories that I've mentioned so far, you might want to check this one out because it is a deeper, darker look into the cosmic world of DC, and it's definitely worth checking out. And now that we reached the end of the video, you might be like, damn, this is a lot to collect, man. Breathe, relax, maybe start with one of the standalone titles like Emerald Twilight, and then jump into a run after. It doesn't have to be in order. I read them all out of order, to be honest. I'm still reading them out of order, and I'm just enjoying it. It's fun. Just remember, you're jumping into the cosmic world of DC, so buckle up and enjoy the ride and have fun. That's it. So let me know if you read these. Let me know if you're interested in these. I will try to post links, as always, there to kind of get you started on them. And I hope you enjoy these runs as much as I did and these standalone stories. And everybody, have a wonderful day.